Good afternoon. Sunday. Today is the 21st of July, 2024. I am here with my third test, and then Donna and I will try to get together to start talking and taping and to see how we can communicate. I know everyone says I'm a little too serious. I can tell you my humor hasn't come back since I lost Ralph, and it's slowly coming, but it will. Hopefully, it'll squeak through. And the other thing is, I'm sorry. This is Ashka from our mystical universe and of Ashka's connection. My eye is really droopy today, and I don't know why, but I just go with it as it is. Hopefully that doesn't distract from what I'm talking to you about. Today is going to be a very short subject. I know people said they get tired of sitting after 10 minutes. I guess I'm a little boring. So today we're going to talk about something that's fun for me, my guide LaSoon. What is a spiritual guide? For the last 2 weeks, I have been searching, researching, trying to find out the different definitions of spiritual guides. There's so much out there, but I think you have to find what relates to you. So that's what I'm going to try to do. First, I'm going to tell you how I met LaSoon. I was writing a children's book, and it's about martial arts and about my kids. And as I was finishing each chapter, I can't even explain to you when I was writing. I was in a zone, and I would just see the images in my head, and I would just write what I saw and what I heard. I started to, I'm trying to make it so it doesn't sound like I'm completely crazy. I started to hear a voice in my head, just very quiet. A voice in my head would say, don't use that word, use this word, gently guiding me. And I just went with it. And then at the end of one of the chapters, I finished it up. It was a really tough chapter to write because I was walking a fine line between a children's book and having the book entertaining for adults. And people would learn about martial arts and about my husband's belief in what martial arts is truly about. So still haven't gotten the book published, but it's here and I still work on it. And I'm working on a book on Atlantis, trying to get that done. But I heard this, I was typing, and all of a sudden through my hands I typed, we will meet again soon, Ashka. Okay, what is an Ashka? Oh my God. And then all of a sudden I heard myself say LaSoon. And I said, what is a LaSoon? And I typed it right on the page. And I thought, so then I started doing a little research, and I found out that you have your 6 senses. Okay, let's see if we can name the 6 senses and I get them all. You have your spiritual or your ESP. You have your feel. You have your smell. You have your sight. You have your sense of smell, and I feel like I just lost track of them, and I'm going to go over them again with you. But anyway, remember I told you, if you had a chance to watch the last video, that we can connect our 4 bodies together. Okay, those I can name easily: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. That you need to work from all the bodies, and you can meld them together when you do things that bring joy to you. I love to meditate. I love to write, and things have a tendency to come through me when I'm writing. There are other ways. My son, when he does martial arts and he's working with the kids, he said he feels a sense of peace, of centeredness. My daughter, she loves to travel. And when she travels, she has new revelations that come to her as she travels. She went with a friend when she was I believe, a sophomore, in college. And she went to Australia for 6 months. It was a devastating thing for me, but thank God we could FaceTime every day. I have always tried to, and I'm sorry I'm getting off topic a little bit, I have always tried to give my children a sense of strength and not fear whenever they go for something new that they want to accomplish. And that's what LaSoon has done for me. I remember I looked up what LaSoon is, and it's a Vietnamese season, and they use it in their dishes. I don't know if it's like a vinegar or if it's a salt, but anyway, as I got to know LaSoon, he made me realize that he was the seasoning, the spice in my life. He has done so many things. He has never wrong. He guides me. He never gives me answers. I always make my own decisions. LaSoon has never, ever had any kind of anger or to hurt anyone else. That's not in his being. And I find myself becoming gentler because of him. I still have my fiery and my passionate points, but I have more of an empathy and a sensitivity to people, even those who have really hurt me in my lifetime. And I still don't look at them any other way than how they touched my life and what I learned from that lesson. And believe me, there's a lot of them. So what I want to do, LaSoon came to me when I was writing. When I started meditating, I always meditate with a point. I always have some type of something I had questions, and I would always ask when I would meditate. And I started hearing LaSoon, and he would talk to me. So what I want to say to you is, spiritual guide is a being that remains or acts as an escort. They are a protector, advisor, companion. They never answer questions, but will gently guide you. I think I'm repeating myself. Spiritual guides are universal energy, because I know someone said to me once, "Can I meet LaSoon?" And I said, "He's energy. He's from the afterlife. He's part of my existence." But they are definitely here to help us. When you start to have clarity and you meld your four bodies together, you can meet there. I had two very important spiritual guides in my life. I had, let's see, I'm sorry, it's already 8 minutes in and I haven't said anything I want to say. When you have clarity, you will start to meet. I met my higher self when I was meditating and I was opening up my heart chakra. And we've talked about that. And if you have questions, please post a question. I will get right back to you and answer it. The only thing I can say to you is when you meld your bodies and you start to have clarity, and especially emotional and the mental clarities, your guide will come through. My higher self was called Ashka. And when I melded with her, my spiritual name became Ashka. And when I worked at a little spiritual shop, I worked at two of them. Mystical Moon was one of them, and All Things Mystical and Magical was the first. People, that's how they would communicate to me. And it was funny, people felt comfort that I had this spiritual name because they thought I was, someone from the street who was just trying to make money off them, and that's never my intent, ever my intent. So LaSoon has guided me all these years through my children's books, through the passing of Ralph, through my passing when I lost in 2009, I lost my mom, December, and then 2010, I lost my dad in April, and March 2010 was when I was diagnosed with cancer. It was just a bomb exploded in my life, and all I kept thinking about was my children, what was going to happen to them. But LaSoon helped me through it, through meditation, prayer, if you want to call it prayer, because I prayed a lot, and support and strength. Strength was a big thing. So LaSoon has been with me as I walk my steps. I will ask him questions and I will have answers in my head. When you meet your guide and you start to connect with them, you're going to connect with them in your way. You could connect with them through, like I said before, it could be anything you do that's joy in your life. It can be martial arts, it can be gardening, it can be walking, riding a bike, things that you do that you will have clarity at the end of doing this event. So I'm going to give you a little example of LaSoon. Someone came to me and they were a paranormal investigator. And they said, can you ask LaSoon how much knowledge I have in the paranormal? So I asked LaSoon, and LaSoon would give me just whatever I asked, he would answer. And he said to me, you have as much knowledge as a bucket of water. And this gentleman came back to me. He said, what the hell does that mean? And so I asked LaSoon, I said, LaSoon, what does that mean? And he says, the bucket of water came from the ocean, you know nothing. So what that meant was you got to keep searching. Your whole life, you keep searching, keep expanding your knowledge base. So I'm just going to recap because I don't want this, it's going to be too long. I don't want you guys to lose interest. So spiritual guide is energy. It's a universal energy that's out around you, and it's in your guides are always in your aura. I do want to do a little segment on auras. There are 7 layers to your aura, and they hang in your aura. And when you have clarity and you meld your bodies together, you will start to connect to your spiritual guide, and they're there for you. Anytime you just ask a question, they won't give you an answer, but they will try to guide you. It's funny, when I talk about LaSoon, everybody thinks it's just a person that walks around Earth, and he's not. But to me, he is. He's always with me. He's always ready to answer any questions I have. I have done readings where he has been so truthful, and he has explained things to me that sometimes I scare people. So I did a reading for someone. I was doing tarot, and I did a reading, and she said she was worried about her daughter. I don't think this woman will mind that I'm telling this story. Her daughter was she was talking to, and she was small, in her maybe four or five. She was talking to someone in her bedroom, and the woman was scared that she didn't know what was going on, and this little girl would just talk about this person. And she would sit on the end of her bed, and this woman would just talk to her. So what I do, I can read the energy around people. So all I do is say their name and any questions they ask me. I don't want information, no information. So what I saw was this little girl talking to this elderly woman, and she was a ghost. And she had a dress on with roses all over the dress. You have to understand, these guides will use symbolism to communicate to you, because I can't hear what they say to me. I can only hear LaSoon. Now, my son James, when he does ghost hunting, he can hear the spirits communicate to him. He hears them. Everybody has a strength in their 6 senses. And I am going to write this down because I'm sorry I didn't name them all. Sight, smell, hearing, touch. Oh God, there's so many, and I just can't get them all. But anyway, so when I talked to the mom of the little girl, and I said, well, there's a woman, she's a grandmother. I said I could only see her from behind. That's all she would show me. And I had the shape of her. She was a little overweight, and how she would sit and play with this little girl. And I told her how this woman's name was Rose. And I said, usually within a moon cycle, because that's how my life works, I said, you'll understand who it is. And I said, you'll get back to me before the cycle ends to tell me whether I was accurate or not. So she called me back and she said, my husband's grandmother passed away several years ago, and her name is Rose. And what you described is her to a T. So here, this little girl, her father, his grandmother was with her, and he was talking to her as she was talking to her. And we have spirits around us constantly. I call them familia, and they're part of our family, and they've been with us through the lifetimes we've had on earth. So I apologize. This is so long, and I hope it's not drawn out. I'm going to listen to it again. If I have to, I'll talk again about this subject. But if you have any questions, everyone has spiritual guides. You never have to be afraid of them. It's all wonderful, beautiful energy, and they're there to help you through difficult times. LaSoon helps me with others, and sometimes if they're having a lot of strife in their life, I will ask him to go to them, to give them comfort until they can connect to their own guides. So I hope this wasn't drawn out. And this is Ashka, third installment. And Donna and I hopefully will get together soon. But I need your advice. I need you to tell me how boring I am. Did I lose track? So any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. And it's Sunday the 21st. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we will meet again soon. So it's Cindy and Ashka from our Mystical Connection, and we will speak soon. Bye-bye. Okay, it won't turn off. Let's try this.